All right, hello. We're playing a two-player version with Peter and me, Phil Eklund, of Arrival, and we've just arrived here at Kide, 16.5 light years away from our own star. And so we've got two planets, Small and Stor. This reminds me, I have to update these star cards to say Liten because Swedish people were complaining. That's with a carbon planet and then an ocean planet that are two binaries orbiting each other and each orbiting Kide. So I'm going to get out of this box. I may need your help, Marcin, to put these things back because I don't know how to put them back. Okay, we've got one planet here, carbon, and we've got the other planet. So these two planets are orbiting each other in a binary fashion. It's a binary planet. Oh, it went back. So, and this one is called Liten. It's the smaller one, slightly smaller. They're almost the same size. So we're going to first of all, I think we're going to roll for climate on Liten right here. So Peter, do you want to roll a dice and just to see how hot or cold we are? Three? Okay, so 3 is here. This is...
It should be here.
I'm sorry, yes, you're so right. So this is a Venus-like carbon planet. Now go ahead and roll for the other one, Stor. Use the other one, use the small one. We're not using the day-night ones anymore. They didn't work. All right. So this is a very Earth-like planet. Stor looks pretty comfortable to humans. So let's go ahead and load these up with lakes and atmosphere and stuff. I'm by the big one. I'm by the ocean planet, so I'll try to do that one. If you try to load up the carbon one, the dry one. Carbon worlds are extremely dry. So, for whatever reason, this binary world, we've got a planet and a sister planet, but one of them is full of water and the other one has no water. So, probably the argument is, or we'll be fighting over, maybe. We might be fighting, I don't know, it depends on our species and a lot of other things. Over this water world, which looks a lot more comfortable than that carbon planet does. I'll also say that in this game, the components are a little bit strange. The blue and the green are supposed to be the same colors. And they mean liquid water, more or less. So, I think we're about ready to auction. I'm going to put this starship I'm going to put this starship here. Now, this means that we've got 6 generations till station fall when the starship blows up. The starship itself is located here in this hab. And I'm going to flip over the star card. Marcin, can you flip it over? I don't know how to flip it, just the top one. I think you flipped over the whole thing.
I cannot right now, so I think Peter.
All right. Looks good. Now, I can see that for whatever reason, it says Milankovitch heating, that both these binary planets are going to be warming up throughout our history. And I think that we're going to try, there's only 4 warmings here. I'm going to try to enforce, Marcin, I'm going to try to enforce component limits, at least on these chits. So if you run out of warms, you have to wait until another one becomes available before you can put a 5th one in. Because I think that's the way it is in the golden rules for the golden component rule. If you don't have a token and you're supposed to place it, you don't place it. So now the rules state if we're ready to go, if we're ready to bid on our starting species, and there's 6 species, and you can bid on any of the 6 colors. And we're going to start with you, Peter. What is your opening bid? You can bid anything. You should get, by the way, 3 nuclear bombs and so
I bid 1.
are you bidding 1?
Yes.
Wow. And I will let you have it. Which one do you want?
Oh, I'm not sure.
God, I thought in the ocean planet we'd be starting with more water. I don't understand, and it looks like I forgot one too. I don't understand why we're starting with so much ice. Oh, I think I remember. I think I figured that it's in very early Milankovitch and it would be warming up, so we'd get more and more water. I think this was the plan.
So I will take Goomans.
You'll take humans. All right. And I think that I'm going to take player white. So, I'm going to try to change my color. Oh, no, I don't. I've already a player white. Okay, so I had this all planned out.
I am white.
I think Peter said that he wants the Goomans.
Oh, what you? Oh, you. I thought you said humans. I'm sorry. You already got white. Oh. Well, then, in that case, I'm going to change to player blue, and or I guess it's green here, because I'm going to take the humans, and you are taking. We call them ice worms now because you understand. I keep changing my mind here, but by picking player white, you are picking a native species native to the arrival system, and you will not be arriving in the starship. You understand that? Yes.
Yes. I want to be some humans arriving. So which to take? The green or black?
Yeah, the green, or I don't know if it's green or blue. All right, if you want the, then I will take white, and I'll try to. Let me change my color, and I'll do white. And you also understand that there's a lot of white on the planet. It's an ice world. It's snowball, really. But because of the warming trend, the planet will be warming up, and that ice is supposed to be, if my new system is working, melting into water, so the planet will become better and better for you. Now, by picking green and white, I sort of deliberately put us into climate control conflict because I'm hoping, I don't know, that players that are used to the game might be able to see ways to change the climate to favor them. And up to now, the players have been, in the previous playtest, just been going along for the ride. They haven't taken a lot of charge in terraforming. And now that I'm up against Peter here, it's possible that we'll see more active, aggressive combat terraforming. Maybe.
Let's see.
So you should
Hello?
place a green figure here.
Hello?
Hello.
Oh, hello, yes.
Hello?
Can you hear me? I can hear you, Roger. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. Now I can hear you just fine. It was a little bit touch and go there. Did you want to play, Roger,
Yes,
or are you just watching?
I'm watching. I'm on a train to Frankfurt.
You're going to Africa?
Yes, I'm on a train to Frankfurt.
All right. Okay.
But I wanted to ask you something. You were talking about climate change,
Yes.
and players usually go on for the ride. I was wondering, wouldn't it be interesting if the starship started already with that possibility instead of having to wait to build a hub all the way up in L1, which gives you the ability for climateering. If you already had that opportunity, the humans players from the get-go could start doing some climate changing or forecasting climate changing.
Yeah, well, okay, my thinking is that the Starship arrival team has to make a decision on what they want to do. They could do anything from emergency parachute to the planet's surface to trying to build a climate changing engine, either aerostats in the sky or dipoles at the L1 or possibly solar screens at the L1. I think, though, in order to make something like that they would have to have access to the surface to be able to get to, and a launch vehicle, to be able to get the stuff they need to build something as huge, for instance, as a sunscreen. I don't think that a starship, in which every gram is measured and cost millions, if not $1 billion, that they'd be able to construct something that elaborate with what they have on hand, unless they're able to get to the planet. So that's my thinking, that I'm hoping that the Arrival team will have some sort of agony of decision over what they want to do. Do they want to try to change the climate right away? Do they want to bail out and start farming? Things like this. Now, it's not...
Well, the thing is, you can only do the sunscreen after you build a hab in L1, a bipole hab in L1. And that will only happen after the starship has disappeared. And that's 6 turns away, and then you start putting warm or cold from that point onwards, which will take 6 turns in itself. So I'm just saying that it's usually the humans will go for the ride on how the climate goes instead of actively changing it, because it takes too long. I mean, another alternative, and I understand what you're saying about it being complicated to construct, but they could also, like, I don't know, throw a nuclear bomb into the atmosphere at a higher level and try warming that way or something like that. But
Yeah.
I want to point out that for the humans, it takes a long time to try to do some kind of climateering, because they don't have that access until 6 turns into the game.
All right, understood. I understand.
Yeah.
We need these hab cards spread out, though. No, I thought I had... You can put your figure back on the starship. I thought I had a picture of the starship there. I don't know where it went. And I also will have to find this one. I guess this one, and I flip it over. And I've forgotten how to rotate. No, that's not that. Like that. All right. So I'm going to be starting my ice worm figure here. In the trenches, and now this is what the rules say. It's not... It's a little bit of a wonder that an ice worm is living, has a civilization or any kind of establishment at the red-hot lava temperatures deep in the planet when the surface is covered with ice. This is a little bit, it's a little bit strange.
Okay.
But and of course the rules can finagle with this, but the rules right now say that any of the natives start in a hab located in the trench of Stor, and so that's what I did just by the rules. Now, you, Peter,
What
are
would
the
happen
first...
if there will be 4 native players? One
we're going to have the rules state if you have too many, then we're going to start another hab here in the underwater or the underground.
Okay. And who goes where? It's like probably player order right now.
Yeah, player order. I'm not I have a
I think that
problem
it
with
should
that.
be like,
Marcin, there's a. I think you complained that you can only build one city, and I was struggling on getting a second city built on a world. And I thought, well, maybe I can do an underground city. Yes. That way
well,
I'd have.
yeah, I mean,
So I made an underground city card. And if you do build a hab on this level, the underground level, then it'll be a city, and you get to place a dome on the map and everything else like that. It'll be under the ground, presumably for radiation protection or something like a Mars city would be. It still only is able to house just one guy. Where's the?
well, my other complaint can be also that, for example, you don't have any choice when building something on any level. It's only one type of building there.
Yes, that's correct.
Not sure. So on this level, you are always building the city and so on. Yeah.
Yeah. It is true. Now, it's possible that if I were imaginative enough, or you were, that I could make these cards double-sided, and the other side is a promoted side to a hab that has more room in it and is able to do more stuff, maybe, or something. This would be a little bit more like terraforming Mars. We're able to build things up, and that's a good idea, especially for a longer game. I'll make a note of it, okay?
Yeah. Either that or maybe like have, possibility to build hubs that are focused on terraforming, on war or something like that, so.
Yeah, all right.
Either fist or.
All right, I'll put you in charge of upgraded habs, okay?
Okay, I may try to figure out something.
Sure, I mean, military bunkers and things like that. But one thing for sure is they should have more room, not just one space. They should have two spaces and able to do two things maybe in an upgraded hab instead of just one. This sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sure.
All right. So, any rate, I'm going to let Peter take the first move since he bid his. Now we should put our fortunes into our little treasury here. Damn it. And we should also, very important, is put our delegates out and choose our starting guild.
Only 3 beryllium or all of them?
Yeah, you start with 3 beryllium, so do I. And so, Peter, you should pick one of your delegates, and you've got 5 of them, all different shapes, and you place it right here.
No. Okay. Which? I'm not sure which to start with.
Okay, traditionally,
And don't forget your secret guild, maybe that's going to help you. The secret guild to help.
that's a good point. We haven't picked our secret guild. So flip over your stack of secret societies, shuffle it up, and draw the top one so that you can see your secret guild, which is to the right, your revolution, and at the very bottom is your secret ideology. Thank you, Roger. Roger, do you think, I guess we should all throw in, I don't want to start with pets or anything else like that, but we should all throw in, what do you think, two guilds into the wheel?
Well, up to you. Either that or you use the anarchy that I suggested to change.
I don't.
Or
I do not want to have anarchy give you access to a guild. To me,
Okay.
anarchy is not access to a guild. So
I mean, that's more of an apolitical spot than anarchy in any case. But sure, go ahead. I think you should at least put each one should put one in the wheel at least. One
yeah,
extra
at
in the wheel.
least one. We'll try one and see if we can get away with it. So I'll just go, Peter. I'll just go over the 5 just very briefly. First of all, there's robotics, and we're both going to be doing a lot of construction because we need vehicles to get anywhere. So for sure, you're going to need robotics. Almost everyone starts with that. And then there's the heart. Now, the heart is good because it gives you education. This gives you the ability to get additional guilds as you need them. Now, Roger suggested a rule, which I'm going to try, whereby if you don't have a heart, you can try to get the services of any guild by paying them double. Normally, if you use a guild master to use their guild, you would pay a bribe of 1 bead, either one of your berylliums or one of your bombs. But if you pay 2 to 2 guilds of your choice, then you're able to do a guild that you don't have. So this is to try to keep you from getting shut out because you don't have the ability to change your guild without education. I don't know if I explained that very elegantly, but the important ones here are construction, because you're going to be building stuff, ecology, because that gives you access to educate, to make new guilds. If you're going to do any contact work, and contact is, as you probably already know, trying to contact the aliens. And if there's an alien symbol, for instance, on this planet, Harmonians can be contacted. And on this planet, God, is there any aliens on that planet? Yeah, there is. In the sky, there's some aeroplankton that could be contacted. To do contact work, you're going to need biology. And if you want to farm the surface, you will also need biology. These are pretty important. And finally, mining new stuff. Now, you're up in the sky, and there's nothing to mine up there. But if you ever want to get more beryllium or more helium, down here in the depths, you can mine more bombs. This is where I'm at, and so I'm at a good position to mine a lot of stuff. Over here, you notice that you can mine both beryllium and helium. So for mining, this is a really valuable thing if you can get down to the surface.
Okay.
One
Phil?
quick question, if I may. Okay, go on, Roger, first.
Yeah, my question is, I believe you can contact the sirens in Liten, in the trench.
Yes.
And will you be able to contact or make contact with the Hikikomoris in the jars?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
The contact on the starship is only for an unmanned starship that arrives. And now, I talked too fast though with the sirens. I don't see any siren contact availability on the planets as they are now. If for instance,
there's a
we
fish
had,
token.
if we had this, if it was warmer, we'd be able to contact sirens there.
Oh yes, true. Of course, it has to be warmer.
Oh.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't it strange that it's getting warmer and now we can contact them?
Yeah, well, they feel more comfortable higher up, so they come out from the depths. Maybe, I don't know. There's a lot of ways you can spin it, but that's the way I would spin it.
One question just I had, because humans has like problem with mining at the beginning. Maybe there should be an option to like accelerate the ship fall, but instead, how to say it, having some materials scrap from the ship. Like
Well,
some kind of.
the storyline goes that your starting beads, beryllium, and bombs are salvaged from the ship, and the ship doesn't have anything more. It's been salvaged. It's now a derelict.
Okay.
And
Because I thought that it may be salvage more, but you have then less time to to abandon.
yeah. No, such things are possible, but you have to understand. I want to play test more to see what the problems are of the species.
Sure.
But I certainly want to encourage them to go out and explore and not just stay on their starship and eat the moldy food and chip away beryllium from their own ship as if it were around the world in 80 days or something.
Okay, I see. Sure.
All right. So, I mean, just talking out loud, Peter, it's not obvious to me what planet you want to go for. I mean, because of all the mining possibilities, it's possible you want to go to that one. You won't be able to farm or spread out very much because it's so dry and the surface is so hostile, but it's full of stuff. And there's no aliens there except friendly aliens. So it's not entirely obvious which one you should go for. But you're familiar, I think, with the and we've got to put out our delegates before we do anything else. You're familiar, I think, with the end game. For some reason. Yeah, so you should put a delegate out and another one into your wheel, or into the wheel. I shouldn't say your wheel. Into any wheel.
So I choose robotics
Sure.
and ecology to where? To wheel.
Yeah.
And which spot?
In the same one with the rocket. Now, you put it on the fish side and I put it on the human side. We really need to flip both of those over. And your delegate in the here needs to be flipped to its human side too. All right. Now that we've got our delegates, you get to do the first move. Because you have robotics, probably an early thing you want to do or could do or might think of doing is to make this one your leader. And then you're able to move it one in any space, and you have to think about which revolution you want to go to, or which ideology you want to go to, or you want to have private, or we'll see how that works. But then you get to build something, and you should build something that is a vehicle that's able to well, at the very least, enter low orbit of one of the worlds, the world you want to go to. Now, you don't have to do my suggestion. You could do lots of other things. You could put something else in the wheel, another guild. You could parachute right now. That would be suicidal. You could... But really, your only real option now, because your starship is disintegrating, is to build a vehicle to get out, I think. But you probably are going to have to choose a world.
So I move here, right?
Correct?
And I build vehicle on low orbit of Stor.
All right. Which vehicle do you want? Now, all those are on the purple side, but they got the same values now on their other side, which is the human side. But you don't have, because you want to go to this world here, and the pressure here is 0. The pressure on and low orbit is 0, then you could, you got to pick something that at least has a 0 on it or an L1. So this is a possibility for you. If you build this huge Zeppelin called the Whale, then you can, you would build both of these. You would build this top part and this bottom part on their black side, and you would put it on the planet that you want. And in that case, you're able to place the top one here and the bottom one here. All right. So let me just review the rules for everyone on vehicles. You're able to construct a vehicle if you have access to an adjacent level. And in this case, you've got a hab here at the L1 Lagrange point. So I think, I'm still struggling with it a bit, I think you're able to build a vehicle in adjacent level, and that vehicle is able to go down to this level. Now, because you need beryllium for this, you've got to take one of your beryllium and put it on the little white spot right there. I wish these berylliums were smaller, but nevertheless, that's the long and short of it. You built a vehicle and you moved your delegate, and now it's my turn. You have any questions?
No, not yet.
All right, not yet. So I think that I am going to go ahead and mine I'm going to mine a blah, 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 blah. God, should I mine this or should I make more? This was not entirely well thought out. I think I'm going to throw this into the wheel. Now, in order to do that, I have to pick this delegate because this is my education delegate. And because I picked that, I have to pay that guild one thing, and I'll pay them a bomb to that guild. Sorry, right there. And that's the end of my turn. Are there any questions?
No.
All right. So I'm going to roll the die for the event, okay?
Yes.
And I rolled a 4, and I'm going to look at this one first. And 4 says that we have mega lightning, a volcano mega lightning. Now, that means we have a volcanic eruption, and we'll look here for that. But it looks like I have to roll for a latitude, so I'm going to roll for it. And it rolled a 4. A 4 on this planet goes to here, and now I have to roll again. I think, what does it say? Move one red disk to a random latitude highest elevation from the trench and smite. All right. Now so on the 4, the highest elevation is here. But the rules also say that if you have a volcano on a volcano, that it has to go to the next highest, which would be here. So what I'm going to do is a new volcano there. If there were any figures adjacent to this, but there's no figures on the planet, they would have died. But that's it for the volcano. Now, the next thing that happens is, with a 4, we have to boil off water.
So don't you evaporate? Oh, wasn't there any methane there?
No, there was no, if you're talking about this spot here, there was no lake there. Was that your question? And I rolled a 4.
Yeah, that was my question.
Didn't I roll a 4?
Yes. If there was a lake, it would evaporate, right?
Correct. If there was a lake in the next high, any lake except lava, if there's lava, you skip over it. All right. There's no water to boil off, but there is sulfur. So I'm going to see if the sulfur boils or not. Damn it. How do you... All right. These dice don't roll elegantly. There's no sulfur boil off, so that's it for that event. And I'm going to go over to this event here, and it looks like we have river carbonate erosion. So we boil off methane, which there's none. We boil off water, which there's plenty of. I'm going to roll to see where that is. 2. And the boil rules, which are here, state move one disk of that color in a random altitude of the lowest elevation to the sky, and all of the whites flip to blue. So we've already, I thought this would take a while, but it didn't really. This goes into the sky. because it's in the lowest elevation. It's only 1 dot. So our humidity goes up. And because the humidity went up, we put in a warming into Stor. We also flip all of these. Now, why am I flipping them? Because it says here, if we have this sort of boiling, all the ice on the planet melts. So suddenly we have an ocean planet much sooner than I thought. Another event that happens is this, which is lava crystallization. So I'm going to roll a random latitude again. And I rolled a 1. So this lava dries up and goes up there. And finally, there's a cooling event from, carbon sequestration. If there's a warm and a cool together, they cancel each other out. And that's it for the events. We're going to advance the wheel. Can I ask someone who's clever to advance the wheel for me? Marcin, can you do this?
Just moving all the pieces to the next.
That's all it is. You move the pieces to the next one.
No.
If you select everything, if you select this wheel and the pieces at the same time, you could rotate everything, but otherwise they don't rotate. I'm not clever enough to do this.
I will do
I need my.
Yeah, you can do it, Peter. Okay. I wonder if you can combine them somehow.
Yeah, I think if you select them all at once, including the wheel. But I don't know how. Whatever is easiest. I have no idea how to do this. And that was a failure.
Didn't pay the final.
You didn't pay the fino. Yes, exactly.
Just simply, I think it's the best way. It's just to...
And where it
this is fish.
And where it should arrive.
Here is now, so the whole circle is like 6 rounds.
Yeah, I'm trying with the now here. Maybe it's not obvious, but
Those hearts, what they do? This is for forecast.
yeah, that's for the forecast. If there's one heart showing, then you place any new events here. If there's 2, you place them there. If it's 3, there, and 4 or more there. So, at any rate, yeah, this forecast is an attempt anyway. So, Peter, it's your turn now. The planet is very hospitable for you. If you felt like farming, you could bail out with your human right now. I mean, I'm not suggesting this, but if you bailed out right now and parachuted down to the planet. Now, the parachute rules are sort of here, but the important thing is you don't need a vehicle for parachute. And if you do, you'll land on a random spot, and all the spots are adjacent to water right now. That means if you farmed and parachuted, you'd be guaranteed a home on this planet. Why? Because your color is green. These discs are green. I know they look blue, but blue is green in this game. And you can see, if it's not obvious, the North Pole, which has water, is adjacent to all to these 5 spots in the northern latitude. So it's adjacent to the entire north half of the planet. This south pole, also with water, is adjacent to everywhere in the south. So no matter where you land on the planet, you'll have a place to farm if you wanted to do so. Now, if your goal is contact with the aliens, then you'll need a hab and you'll need a vehicle down to build the hab. If your goal is mining to get more stuff, then you'll need a hab for that too. But if your goal is just to get enough figures to do extra actions by farming the planet, you can, of course, build a vehicle down to the surface, to the ocean surface here, and do farming. But it's also possible, if you felt like it, to parachute, because the planet is very hospitable for you. Is that clear?
Yes, so I try to parachute. I need to do some.
But you'll need to do farming. Do you have a biology or access to biology?
No, I think not.
Parachute wasn't the free action, actually.
Oh, it is a free action. Now, Marcin, these are the rules right now, and I'm also talking to Turtle as well, especially Turtle, I guess. The rules state, and this, I've gone back and forth on it, that if you want to farm, then you need a vehicle to farm with to find your farming spot. The only exception is if you've got a city or a farm, you can, without a vehicle, go to an adjacent spot. Now, if you want to farm and you don't have a vehicle, you can try parachuting. You'll land at a random spot, and if you land close enough to a lake, then you can go ahead and farm. But in all of those instances, you need to have biology to be able to farm. So that's fine, but there's one more thing, and I'm not sure about this, and I'll ask your opinions later or so. I've got what's called an emergency farming. That is that the starship blows up, or your hab blows up, or the city blows up, or something. There's an emergency. But you don't have, and it could happen in an event. It's not even your turn. Or it could be an opponent's turn and they blow you up, and you have to parachute as an emergency. To give you a chance of survival, I allow emergency farming, even if you don't have a biology guild or anything else like this. I call this the Martian rule because it's inspired by the movie and book by Andy Weir called The Martian, whereby a stranded astronaut has to learn how to farm the world without any special biology knowledge. So anyway, that's the way it stands right now. It's a little bit convoluted, but I need to...
I think it's a good option to have it to prevent some eliminations or something like that.
Yeah.
For simplicity's sake, I think parachuting should be the same all the time.
All right, same all the time. So you, if you do, in other words, if you do an emergency parachute outside your turn, which is, by an event or combat or something else like that, you need to have access to biology in order to survive.
No, the contrary. That parachuting would always be the...
All right. Okay, the contrary. All right, understood. So...
having two different types of parachuting.
Having two different types of parachuting is not good. I agree. It's confusing, very confusing. but I
that's my
still like
opinion.
it.
I mean, yeah, I mean, just play along now with that rule. It'd be nice to see what what it
Yeah,
does.
we'll see it because I have the option to build a rocket plane and blow up that starship pretty quickly. And if I do so on my turn with a rocket plane or something, he doesn't have any biology at the moment, so I could take him out. I could drive him extinct if he continues foolishly to live in this starship and not get access to biology.
It's just again, it's two different rules for parachuting, which are strange. If you can do an emergency parachuting without the need of farming, and you can land and go on a farm, why would you have a parachute?
Yeah, your microphone is making it hard to understand you. But you're right. But let me just say, let me give you another example in the game. Supposing you're living in the South Pole, you're a human, you've got a farm there. Suddenly, as an event, the South Pole turns to ice or boils off or something, goes away. The rules state this is an emergency and you can move to an adjacent farm without harm as an emergency. But, technically, this is a type of parachute, and if you didn't have biology, even though you're farming right now, technically, without access to farming, you would die. And it seems extreme. I mean, to kill off farmers in this fashion when there's a city maybe or other farms available right next door. All right.
There should
So
be some
what-
option to escape, maybe with some costs to pay something.
Yeah. That's an option too. If you have to emergency farm without biology, then you can pay a cost to stay alive. Something like this is fine. But I'd like to discuss it later a little bit more, especially when he's out hand-tilling fields in Malawi or something. But what's your next move, Peter? Oh, you were going to get a jar. You were going to throw a jar into the wheel, weren't you? Because you wanted to parachute and farm. Yes.
Okay, so
It sounded like you wanted to farm. You wanted to parachute and farm, but you can't do it now because you have no biology guild. So to put a biology guild, what you have to do is what's called education, and it's located here. And that allows you to add another guild of yours to the wheel. It'll last for 6 turns. Now, because you're using your heart delegate to do so, here, you're going to have to pay a fee to the heart, a fee of 1 bead to the heart association, basically. Now, this one goes into the wheel, but we put it into the now, and the now is here.
okay. So I pay to ecology.
Yeah. Now, you can pay any bead you want. If you're planning on building a lot of stuff, like a city and stuff like this, the beryllium is probably more valuable than the bombs. But if you're planning to destroy the aliens, blow up their hab, then bombs are more valuable than beryllium. It just looks like an aggressive move to me, is what it seems like. Just
Yeah, it's
all right.
It's slightly confusing that bomb are beats should be circular and the bombs are different shapes, but
Yeah, we had to scavenge to set up this module, so I'll be getting your opinion later on what the shapes should be. So
and that's all, or should I do more?
you get to yes, that's all you can do, and now it's my turn, and I wanted to do a power plant action using this delegate here and multiplying my worms in. So, in other words, I built another power plant. Now, you know I'm an ice worm and I'm living in red hot conditions. So, obviously, this is an air conditioning unit. I'm building an extra air conditioning to double my population there because I appealed to this guild to build air conditioning. I'm going to have to pay them, and I'm going to pay them a bomb. So that goes to there. And that's it for the turn. I'm going to roll for the dice.
And the power, it says to empty hab, and it's empty when you have already worm there.
Yeah, there's 2 circles there, I hope. Is that true? I didn't want to do that. Why isn't there 2?
Two circles on the one tile.
All right. There's a mistake on this card. There's supposed to be Let me think about this for a second. I thought for sure that I started them with 2 spots on their starting city. But I only see 1. Did I change my mind or what? But anyway, you're right. With the components as printed here, I'm not allowed to do that. I just assume my eyesight's not the greatest here. I just assumed there were 2 circles because I thought for sure I put them on there.
Yeah,
If we play,
I think it's an oversight.
Yeah, but if we play test and the aliens are coming out short, then they should be starting with 2 in their starting hab, just like the humans have.
Yeah,
Well, upgraded should fit too.
So,
I mean, I remember it used to be 2 before. Must be an oversight on your graphics.
Let's say there are 2 circles and continue.
All right. If there's 2 circles there, and I'm making a note here, I thought for sure I wanted 2 circles on the Stygian hab. Because I
Do you
worked
have
on
a
that
second IGN hab?
just this morning, racing to get this ready for this playtest.
Do you have a second Hygiene hab, maybe? Maybe that has 2 circles on it in the cards? A second card?
No, I there's only 1, and actually there should be 2, but I don't think I don't think I told them. Yeah, all the cards are supposed to be duplicated, and but it doesn't look like we have them. So if we need another one, we're going to have to duplicate it. So, at any rate, that's it for my turn, and I'm going to roll the dice, and I roll a 2, and I'm going to look here, try to manipulate these controls. So we have a proton flux. So there's radiation, but the radiation is ineffective. Why? Because where is the radiation? Right here. I think you add fallout, a red bead, and that should say orange bead, because I've changed these colors. Red bead to the rightmost humidity, but this planet doesn't have any humidity, so I don't think there's any fallout. There's also sulfur rain, and we do have sulfur rain. So I'm going to roll a die for this. It rolled a 5, and it goes to lowest empty spot. So we're going to rain here. And we'll go to the number 2 over here. And this says there's an ionosphere bloom. And we've got rain. So the rain is here, and we're going to roll the dice for random latitude, which I'll do very quickly. And it's a 4, and the 4 is in the southern hemisphere, so this rain will flood the lowest level. And it ends on its blue side just because the eye here is blue. Now, because we decreased the greenhouse gases there, we're going to cool the planet. So I'm going to place a cooling into the wheel. And there's also station fall. And I'll put a station fall into there. Now, damn it, I forgot to make a station fall counter. Damn it. Station fall token. I was supposed to do that and I forgot. So I'm just... We'll probably forget it, but I'm going to put this black beryllium here to represent station fall. Now, what does it mean? It doesn't mean a lot. It just means that when this happens, that anything in orbit here will exhibit station fall. Now, that will mean that if there's a hab there, it will fall out of the sky, just like in the game. But it also means this combination rocket and balloon will at least temporarily have to descend down into the mesosphere because of atmospheric conditions. But as soon as the station falls over, it'll be able to rise back up to its former area. So vehicles are pretty robust, but habs in orbit are impacted. I was inspired by the fall of the Skylab, the early American space station that hit an ionosphere bloom unexpectedly and decayed much faster than expected and crashed into Australia and the ocean and other places. So, anyway, that's the idea. So, That's all that happens. These here are only if the planet was cooler, which it's not. So that's it for the event, and now it's your turn, Peter.
So the events are only for from the start to our.
The events are we're only doing these events. Now, if I move this out of the way, I'm trying to move it out of the way, can see that the first 3 climate zones all share an event. And then the coolest here, also shares an event, but we did those 2.
Okay.
All right, and it's your turn.
So the station fall is not catastrophical for the hub, it only descent? I did not catch it properly.
All right. The station fall is in a steering wheel. See the little steering wheel icon? There's a few of these that are in a steering wheel. That means they don't happen immediately. That means they're scheduled by putting them into the wheel, and they only happen when they go around for 6 turns. So station fall does not happen until 6 turns away. That's why I put this bead here. It's supposed to be a station fall chit, but I didn't have one because I messed up. But this station fall chit will happen and drop the station out of the sky in 6 turns. Now, there doesn't happen to be a station at the moment, and there probably won't be because conditions aren't very good for stations. And by station, I mean an orbital hab here. Did I answer your question?
Oh, let's see. And this symbol here is happening sometimes, or
this symbol here means that there's station fall in this area too. Does that mean the balloon falls? That's weird. I'm making a note, but we're going to ignore this icon for now.
okay.
As it affects unintended consequences. I think I'm going to remove it. Or figure something out. The idea behind it, if you want to hear what the idea behind it was, I was thinking, hey, on this cool planet, our atmospheric pressure is dropping pretty much. It's no longer high enough to support lighter than air things like this balloon, and so they should fall out of the sky. And so I had to figure out what that means and how and when and stuff like that. It wasn't well thought out. So
Okay.
What do you want to do on this turn? Now, if you've got a jar, you can parachute right now. You'll have to pay money.
Don't forget to rotate.
Oh, God. Yes, rotate. Martin, are you the best at this? So what do you want to do, Peter?
Yes.
You're allowed to do farming right now. You have to pay money for it because you have to pay the guild. but you're allowed to do so, and you can parachute your guy out of this doomed starship right now and land on the planet in securely, really.
Okay, I will saw which way. So I parachute, it's free action.
Parachute is a free action. Then the idea is that you're going to do, you want to farm after you parachute. So farming is this biology thing here. So you'll need a jar. And you'll need one of your jars, and the jar is available there if you pay the jar guild 1 bead of any color, or either beryllium or a bomb.
Okay, so I will do.
Now, there's another option you have that you may want to consider. Well, I don't know if you want to consider it. Oh, at any rate, I'll just mention it. Another thing you could do is not to farm, but instead do an ecology work and do education here. And that would mean you would take, the suggestion here is to swap this delegate, which is building stuff, and swap it with the with your farm one, with your biology one. Now, the advantage of doing that is that now that your main delegate is a jar instead of a hex, that you'll be able to do all the farming you want for free. If you don't do this, then to spread out over the whole planet, for instance, perhaps, will be very costly unless you're able to mine something, which is hard. There's not much to mine here. So if you do want to spread over the planet, it seems like you'd want to swap it out and get a farmer as your leader, and then you can farm for free. On the other hand, maybe you say, well, we've got a builder, an engineer as our leader right now. Maybe we should build a whole bunch of stuff while we still have him before we spend money to switch our leader. You could build, for instance, you could try to build down here to be able to, oh no, not there. Here would be a good spot to try to build. If you were able to build a hab here, you can see that beryllium is available. That's what the plus means there. Now, if you did build a hab here, if you build a vehicle here to here, and a hab here, you need a hab in order to mine, then you'd start mining stuff and you get all the beryllium you want to be able to pay for farming or anything else. So these are kind of your options. You can parachute right now and pay 1. You could swap your leader out for a farmer so that you can farm the whole planet. But you could leave your leader as an engineer. You could still parachute now and pay 1. And with your engineers, start building a mining infrastructure on this planet. Now, the wild card is you don't know what I'm going to do. And if I'm right now, because we are different allegiances, and I can tell the allegiance because of the little biped and fish icon. That means that we're allowed to attack each other right now because we're different allegiances. And it's quite possible that I would try to do that. And I still have bombs. Don't I have bombs? Yeah, I have one bomb here. And I have the capacity, possibly, to mine more bombs. So, what do you want to say, Roger?
Well, I think it's important for the new players also to understand that farming depends on enough moisture in the air, in the sky. And right now, it can only take one farm.
That's a good point. Every farm takes away one humidity from the sky. And right now, the sky is only at 20% humidity, so you only have room for one farming. But should there be more evaporation from these lakes, there'll be capacity for more. You can also bomb the lakes and throw them into the sky, so you'll be able to farm even more. Any rate, those are your options. And it's not obvious which one to go for. I can't tell which one's the winning strategy here, but Roger's right. Your farming is limited by the humidity in the air.
Yeah, that's not so good.
Well, Peter, it's also the best opportunity to deny the farm to your opponent, because if you're the first one to take that moisture out of the air, he cannot farm at all.
And what would the farms do for me?
Well, they have a couple of advantages. First of all, every figure of yours counts as a victory point. Another advantage is you're able to do double actions if you get extra figures. And the third advantage is you don't go extinct if I blow up one of you.
So I switch my figures to build farm.
All right. In order to do that, you will have to use your heart. That means you have to pay a fee to the Heart Guild. Actually,
Farming is biology.
I think you want biology, so I think you want to place this one here. There, like that, sort of.
Okay.
All right, that looks good to me.
And that's all, or something else?
No, that's all you have at the moment.
You have to pay biology.
He already did.
Nice. Biology has no bomb there. He paid hearts.
No, he doesn't pay biology. He pays ecology because he used that to re-educate for his delegate. He didn't use the jar.
Oh, I thought he already had a jar.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, and for me, I'm going to go ahead and mine. Now, I really want to look at these. Are there really no? I have no jar. I can't contact the aliens. If I go here, there's a class war. That's not helpful. If I go here, I start an ideological war. That doesn't really change anything. Immortality. is just as useful to him as me. Now,
Well, you can do contact.
I could do contact right now if I had biology, which I don't.
Someone has biology.
Yeah, I know. But right now, the rules are that I'm not allowed to use his biology because he's an enemy. But if I were to go to one big union, or somebody went to one big union, then you're allowed to choose enemy delegates. Now, this might be interesting because that would allow me to use biology. For instance, I'd be able to go to his biology and use it to make contact with my own aliens. So, I mean, that would be useful for me. So I think, peeking at my secret guild and my secret everything, and I think I'm going to start moving to one big union. I'll go ahead and mine, which will give me another nuclear bomb. So, just to review what's happening here, I have a hab here at a level here, which is able to mine nuclear bombs, orange beads. And that is what I'm doing. This particular triangle is a miner who I started with. So, and I can actually mine twice because I have two figures. So I'm going to take a second nuclear bomb like that. And that's it for my turn. I'm going to roll the dice for the event. We rolled a 1. And a 1 means that we throw a warming event into both planets. Marcin, can you put a warming event into there? I can't seem to do it.
To where?
I want one here, and I want one here. Okay, it's your turn, Peter. What would you like to do? You can, of course, you can parachute right now and start farming. That's one option.
Oh, don't forget to rotate time.
Oh, God, I forgot again.
And there's warming that's required for the big planet as well.
Oh, there's already warming? All right.
What do you mean with warming?
Yeah, where do you see the warming? I missed this.
It wasn't on my screen. It popped up now. Sorry. It's correct.
All right. Okay. All right. So there's no warming yet, but there will be. Thank you for reminding me, Roger. I'm not good at I'm not so good at this climate stuff. But it's your turn, Peter.
So I will parachute. So I roll for...
Yeah, so you roll once for your latitude. 5. So 5 means you landed in the southern hemisphere. Now you roll a second time for your longitude. 5. And 5 lands right here. So go ahead and place your figure there. Now, because you chose farming, and farming, I have to read this for a second. You did farming work, and you've got a bridge to your farm. That's fine. You discard a humidity, so we're going to take this one out. Yes? And add your figure on the same color lake. So what I'm going to ask you to do is you get an extra figure for this action. And so you'll get another green figure, and you get to add him onto an adjacent lake.
And if there is none lake?
Well, you've got one here because this little gamma goes to this gamma here, the planet wraps. So you can go to there, but you can also go to the South Pole because the South Pole is adjacent to all these spots. Do you see that?
Okay.
So you get to go to either the South Pole or there. Which one do you like?
I go here.
All right, that looks good. So now you have two figures, and humanity's got to start on this ocean planet. It's my turn. And
do I move my delegate on?
oh yeah, you use this delegate, so you get to move him in one direction, whichever way you want. You could move him into your secret ideology, but if you were interested in one of those revolutions, if you knew what they were, this one's very powerful. If I were to grab the one big union, the big brother, would still have to give permission for anything that I would do if I picked your delegate. That may not be obvious what that means right now, but you'll see if it ever comes to pass. And I think it's not play tested, but it seems powerful. Right now, it's only a 2-player game, so Big Brother is not as interesting. If you had allies who needed your permission because you were Big Brother, you'd have a lot more power. But right now, you don't have any allies, and no one's going to you for permission, so Big Brother isn't so interesting. But if one big union revolution was started, either by you or me or whoever, then we'd be able to use each other's delegates. But only Big Brother, if you don't use your own delegate, only Big Brother would have the permission to say yes or no to using a delegate. I don't know if I explained that very elegantly, but that was the intent.
The revolutions are quite confusing for me, but what is the firebrand?
The firebrand is the delegate who starts the revolution. So, for instance, if you moved him to there, and then you moved him to there, he would be called the firebrand because he started a revolution. This would go into the wheel, so it would last 6 turns. He would be crowned Big Brother, the green delegate. This would mean that everybody who wanted to use any delegate, any human delegate, would need to go to you for permission. Now, right now, there's only one human delegate, but it's possible there'd be pets, maybe, or it's possible that we'll switch to the same side with a class war or something. It's possible we're on the same side, and only you could use my delegates without any permission, but I would need permission for yours. So these are differing things that you have to get used to figure out if it's to your advantage or not.
I go here back.
All right. Looks good. Now it's my turn. And I'm going to... I want to build... I think I'm going to try to build a candle, maybe. Let me just look at this for a second. We're at pressure 6 up to pressure 2. The candle.
Can I have a question? Quick.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was trying to contact you. Probably I didn't have the biology. My mic was down. Still regarding the farms where you were discussing. So farms doesn't give you any advantage in compared to hub, right? Because it's the same.
As far as numbers of figures, yeah.
And actions.
And actions, yeah. There's no advantage. No particular one.
Yeah, so this is strange to me. A little bit.
Well, okay, so what's strange? I mean, you would think that farms would give you more or less, or...
I think it should be some kind of, difference between having a person in a hub or having him in a farm.
Yeah, well, there is sort of a difference. I mean, in a farm, he's still only one farmer out there, but he's surrounded by farmland, and at least if there's enough moisture in the air, you could have a lot of farmers. So there's that difference. A hab, they're always going to be in their ice cave, and they're not going to get...
But if there are more spots, then you can also power plant, right? Yeah.
I'm sorry, ask that again?
I mean, with hubs, you can simply power plant, and it's similar.
Well, if you do a power plant, but there's only one slot.
In some there are 2, right? In cities, for example.
Some there are 2. In fact, we said this one has 2, and cities will also have 2. Yeah, you're right. For ones that have 2, then you're able to multiply just like a farmer could. That is true. But it's only cities or the starship, which is blowing up, or the starting... but for
farms you need moisture, right? So also big limitations.
So Peter has to think, how can I get more moisture in the air? And you have to know the game, but there are ways. One way is to schedule a dropstone to hit the planet. That will add at least 1 moisture into the air. A hypercane might do it. An easier way, if he's got nuclear bombs, which he doesn't at the moment, but if he's got nuclear bombs, he could nuke any lake and throw it up into the air, and then he'd be able to farm some more. Now, those are all options that'll give him extra victory points, extra figures, extra strength, but it's not obvious if that's a winning strategy or not. So one of the things that Peter, you should be considering at this point is, I think you should be considering it, is building a city. So you build a city hab here. You'll need your robot to do that. I'm not saying this is a winning move, but if you did build a city, then you would also be able to build a car. A car gives you extra points for having a city, and because you've got 2 farms, I think you need 3 farms to. What does it say here? Can you read that for me?
3 farms, trench farms, and/or sky farms. Yeah, so 3.
All right. So if you had an extra farm, if you were able to get an extra farm and you had a city, because cars are a city vehicle, now you can see that here. Here's a car. And it's got the little skyline icon at the bottom. See those white buildings? That just means you need a city to build it. And it also means, so if you do that, you throw this into the wheel, and this ends the game. And it'll probably end in victory if there's not a war, you don't get blown up, or something else like that. Because
you also need methane, enough methane in the sky, right, for the car.
there is not enough methane in the sky for the car, but you can also do it with oxygen. And oxygen, you get, I think it's 4% or whatever, for each farm you have on it. And according to here, all you need is 3 farms, and you'll have enough oxygen for an internal combustion engine. So
okay, so that's interesting. It's an either or, either 3 farms or enough methane.
correct. Either, and I have to work on this to kind of make it clearer, but this looks like for the humans to be an obvious way to try to win the game. If they can get a city, they'd be able to build a car, and then they'd be able to end the game in 6 turns.
2 questions. Farms are marked somehow on the planet.
Oh, what's that?
How I know what is the farm on planet?
It's your guy on your meeple on the surface.
Is farm?
Yes.
Yeah, this is farm.
This is defined as 1 farm. This is defined as 2 farms. As long as you have a guy on a meeple, I mean a guy on a disc, a meeple on a disc, that's called a farm.
So if I parachuted from sky on lake, I created farm for free?
Correct. But right now, according to the rules, you're only allowed to do that in an emergency. If your starship blows up, you can parachute and farm for free. Right now, you parachuted in a non-emergency situation, so you needed to do a farming. And this gives you an advantage because it gave you an extra figure. If you do it at an emergency by bailing out, it's only that 1 figure who starts farming. I don't know if that's clear, but
it's a bit fiddly right now.
Yeah.
And
Fiddly or not, and it's got to be smooth or whatever, but it's still.
I know it's just beginning of the work on it.
Yeah.
And another question: the vehicles can be splitted like your powerful vehicle from trench to ground.
You always have 2 halves of the vehicle, and it tells you where can you go, right? And it don't have to be adjacent. It's like the pressure level tells you how far you can go with such a vehicle.
Right. So I chose a VTOL plane here, or Fergal, to use the Swedish term, that can go down to a pressure of 6, which is this deep. This is a pressure of 6.
Could it go,
can go-
beneath the solid ground or sea level? I mean, you have this, this sea level and this seabed solid. Isn't it like some kind of restrictions for some vehicles that you have to use a drill or something to go deeper?
No. Because this is a solid ground, I have to build a drill here, and not an airplane.
Yeah, this was my question. Exactly.
I'm Marcin, it's irritating when you tell me how to play my game.
Sorry. You won 3 times in a row. Somebody has to stop you.
Yeah. Right. So in order to build this vehicle, I have to put beryllium on it. So I'm going to do that.
This is still a strange situation because your bridge could start adjacent to an existing hab, and you would have access to this bridge.
Yeah,
So-
you're right. It sounds like I really don't need this drill here. Why did this thing get small?
So your aeroplane or your helicopter there could start on underneath the water and go to the ground level.
Yeah. And
adjacent to
that's
this vehicle
really what I
itself.
want to do. So I'm going to try this. I'm going to try to build one here and here. And I'll put beryllium. Oh, I don't even need beryllium to build this. So, to try to conceptualize, I'm living underneath the ground. I'm allowed to start a vehicle adjacent to the ground. So I'm building a launch pad on the underwater seafloor here. It's able to go to pressure, it looks like 9, and the pressure is only 5 here. And I'm allowed to go with this rocket all the way up to L1 to here.
No. And you can reach any level between them?
Yes, I can reach any level in between. And yeah, so the concept here is that I'm going to try to win if nobody stops me by trying to build a new starship, because I'm up at L1 and we have a starship victory. And the starship victory is the person with the most bombs. And I have the advantage right now because I'm on a bomb factory, more or less. So it's conceivable that I could. The problem is that I need a city in order to build this starship. The starship is here. Where is it? There. I need a city in order to build the starship. And so I'm interested in trying to get a city going. There's 2 possible spots for a city, here or here. And those will be my next goals. And it's possible you'll want to try to build a city too, because if you want to win with your car, then you may also want to get a city. This is all, this is the way I see it right at this moment.
So how I build a city?
Okay, In order to build a city, it's called construction. And you look at this, you'll need robotics, which you have, robotics here in the wheel. You'll also need a beryllium to build it. And so if you pay a fee to the hex, if you pay a fee to the beryllium, to the robotics guild, they'll build it for you. You'll also need to have a beryllium to actually build it, and that will that'll get you going. Now, you'll be out of money then, but you do have one source of funds at least. You can always decommission this vehicle to recycle your beryllium here. But if you did that and you built a city on this surface, we'd put your beryllium dome somewhere to show where the city is. And then you'd prefer to build a city here, to tell the truth.
I need to build a vehicle first to get there.
Yeah, you'll need a vehicle. Now, you'll probably want to decommission this vehicle to build a new vehicle to get to this level. Now, the reason this level is better is because you can mine more beryllium at this level. But you could also build it here. You're able to house 2 guys here, which don't need moisture. So you'd get more figures, each one worth a victory point. So it's not obvious where you should build your city. I think you are allowed to build your city. I know you're allowed to build your city right here on the ocean without any extra vehicles because you got farmers on the surface. All they have to do is build a city next to their farms. All right, is that clear?
Yes, so I will try to build underground. I need a vehicle.
Well, you guys should do the event, right?
Yes, we need to do the event because I finished my turn.
Yes.
I'm going to roll the dice. Thank you for keeping me honest here. We rolled a 6.
Yeah, I won't be very long here. Soon I catch a plane, so you better remember the rules.
Yeah, I got to hurry. I have to hurry up and win before you go.
If you notice, the sequence of play is on the player boards of the planets.
Yeah, but that's cheating. We've got a super volcano, and I thought I added more magma to this. Why? I was certain I added more magma. What happened? Oh, I wasn't able to import the carbon planet.
I have a question. Whose this spacecraft is? Because there is no beryllium on it. This metallic H.
Yeah, the metallic H, there's 2 spacecraft which are called rockets, which have no dot on them, and they're able to be built without beryllium.
Oh.
But you need to spend a bomb to use them. That's what the little minus orange thing is. Like, here's one of them here.
I was wondering what does it mean. Okay, now I see.
Well, then does that mean that
anybody can use it?
Anyone?
Yeah.
Right now, unless you go to one big union, you're not allowed to use enemy vehicles.
But how do you know it's enemy?
Because this has a little fish on it.
Okay.
And his delegate is a stick figure. Those are always enemies in this game.
Well, just to note that there is a dot. There is a dot on the top level of the rocket.
There is.
What? There is?
There is.
Oh, God. It's not supposed
we
to
don't
be.
see it. Yeah, we cannot see it.
Damn it.
Like all the fish can use it in the more than 2-player game, right?
Correct.
And
And it's every fish can use this. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what'll happen with a 4 or 5 player game, I think. So but anyway, I rolled a 6 and I'm going to erupt some. I added 2 magma here because I know I added that. I did, but I wasn't able to import it. So I'm going to roll for latitude. On the first one is a 6. And it looks like this gets boiled into the air. And a new volcano there. And then I'll roll again for this also gets boiled into the air and a new volcano there. This planet is like a lava ocean here. And there's no water to boil, there's no sulfur to boil, but there is methane to boil, so I'll roll a die for that.
And
What will happen when the lava hits the methane pools on the planet? On the planet.
kaboom!
Yeah, well, it would kaboom, except there is no oxygen on this planet, so there's no kaboom. This is the highest. So this boils off into there. Okay, and now I'm going to quickly look over here and see what happens on the 6. We boil off methane, but there is none. We boil off water. So I'm going to roll to see if there's any I didn't roll that right. 3. So in the upper hemisphere, I guess the lowest elevation, the North Pole boils off. So, hey, you're able to farm again. There's no sulfur, but we do have a volcano. So I'm going to roll for the volcano. I rolled a 1. It hits the highest elevation, which is here in the super plume. And I'm going to take this to there. And it looks like we've got a cooling from volcano winter. So I'm going to
smite. Does that volcano smite?
Oh, yeah, it sure does.
Ouch.
Did we run out of cools?
they are here.
Oh,
So,
yeah,
so
I
Peter's
need.
gonna- so
I
Peter's
need
gonna have to
another
lose his
cool
armor.
there. So we do have a smite here, which kills off adjacent figures from this volcano. So this one dies, and this leader goes into anarchy because of the death. And there's
It's
one more.
another benefit for having them in hubs instead of farm.
Well, if they were in habs, I mean, a city hab, there'd still be a dome on the planet, and anyone, even in the dome, they would die off. The dome would not
Okay.
be destroyed unless it was at ground zero. So we're adding more lava to the planet into the trenches. So I need a red disc. Where are the red discs? Have we used them all up? Marcin, can you clone me a lava? I said I wouldn't do this, but I'd like to clone a lava. And I need it to go right there.
I think you need to promote me again because
I will do it.
Oh yeah, Peter will.
One lava or more?
You can do more like here.
Now,
Phil is on fire.
yeah. So the addition of this cancels the cooling, so I'm going to take it out. All right. So now we've done all and we're up to you again, Peter.
Okay.
I hate to remind you, but you have to move the wheel, the clock.
Oh God. Marcin, can you move this wheel? I promoted you.
That's
okay.
That's the fourth reminder. Yellow card.
Oh, and this guy was also here.
And I guess this guy as well.
Oh yeah, there are two wheels.
Yes, two wheels. I'm still undecided if there should be one or two wheels. Now, Marcin, I mean, on your turn, one thing that you could do right away, if you felt like it, is use your jar and farm another, and try to stay away from high elevations, because isn't it high elevation where the volcanoes come? Yeah. And stay away from the poles too, because the poles are adjacent to a whole bunch of stuff. So this place might be good because it's low elevation. It's not on the pole, and
So I will try to do farm with biology farming. So I move my delegate from anarchy.
another thing I have to decide is if a farmer dies, does that put more moisture into the air? I think it does. I'm going to assume that it does, and if so, I'm going to throw this in here. So one farmer died and added moisture to the air from his dying farm, but
It's
another
easy
farmer...
to reproduce this farm then.
Yeah, but it's not easy. It took him a turn, and he needed to have money for it. Now he happened to have a farmer leader, so it wasn't that bad for him. But this could be a crippling move, even if the moisture is there. I don't know, but this is my thinking at the moment. And now it's my turn. Did you move your delegate, by the way?
Yes.
All right. And for me, I'm going to oh God, I'm going to lose my hex. So I'm going to build a city. I'm going to build it where? I'm going to build it here. So I'm going to get out a city spot. Here's a city. I'll flip it to my side. I'm going to spend a beryllium for this. And I'm going to place it here. Then in order, I had to pay the fee, which I will do so right away to here. And I have 2 figures, so I think I'm allowed to construct twice. So my second one will be build a starship here. Placing beryllium there. And
Can you build a starship if the old one is still there?
I think I can, because it's only a vehicle, not a hab. And vehicles... Okay. And I'm going to throw this into the wheel.
Mm-hmm.
And I also, because I use my rocket plane, I also have to throw away a bomb. And as my final commute, I think I'm going to commute a worm to live there.
And did you use rockets twice?
Now, what's that?
Did you use your rockets twice this turn?
Right now, I have it that one bomb gives you gives you use of the rocket for the whole turn. I'm not sure if this is the best rule, but yes, did use it twice to for the long and short of it.
And what?
So I'm gonna.
And what allows you to do two works?
2 works is because I have a figure here and a figure. I had 2 figures.
Okay.
You are also allowed to do 2 works of the same sort because you also have 2 figures. For instance, if you wanted to farm twice, if you were able to, but you're able to do 2 biology things on your turn, and you could do contact if there was something to contact somewhere that you could get to with your vehicles or your farms. At any rate, you're able to do it twice, and so that's my turn. I'm going to roll for the event.
And this double work, I think I did not completely find in the rules, or it's hidden somewhere. Maybe.
It's hidden. Now, it's very preliminary. It is in the rules. It's but there's a bunch of question marks and XXXs on it and stuff like this.
Yes.
And so I'll be looking for your opinion on how it is or how it works. I know Marcin's, we played this last turn and Marcin hated it, or at least he put something on the...
Yes, I hated it and still hates it.
Yeah, so I'll need I would like to have advantages for more figures in your actions here, and I have to come up with something that Marcin doesn't hate, basically. So I rolled a 6 for the event, and I'm going to... There's another volcano, but we ran out of lava, and there's no more water, sulfur. So, oh, there is methane. So I have to roll the dice, see if where the methane is 6. This methane goes here, which means that we have increased albedo and there's a cooling event on the carbon planet. So I'm going to put a cool here.
And
for the
when you see that, or how?
all right, so where I see that is here. There's something called albedo. That's the amount of light that's reflected away. When the methane level crosses going in this direction, you have a -1. The -1 is a cooling. But if you take away methane, then you decrease the albedo and the planet warms up because it absorbs more heat. Do you see that? There's little arrows on it.
Yeah, I see, but having some like a warmer, cool icon
All right. I'm gonna
about
write this down.
it will be much better.
Yes.
Right now it's just a number without any connections.
Yeah, you're right. It's just a number. It'd be better to say warm or cool, or at least have colors or something. I don't know. All right. Now I'm going to go over here to this one. And we've got more volcanism here. But there's no methane left on the planet. There is water which can boil off. And I'm going to roll. Water boils off in number 1, and I think it starts at the lowest. So this one boils off into the atmosphere, and that creates a warming event. I'm going to throw a warm into the dial. Then we're going to we also have sulfur, but there's none. So we're all done. No, we're not. We have another volcano. This volcano, if it hits in the wrong place, could be serious. I'm going to try to roll a dice. I rolled a 1. It hits the highest. Looks like it hits here. So it doesn't boil off anything, and it doesn't hurt anyone. There's smite, which boils off anything it hits and kills figures in adjacent. No one got hurt. But there's more lava hitting the planet. There. So we're done with events. And it's your turn, Peter.
Shall I have
Yeah, events.
or something? No, the events are done. If you follow the
Advance the
sequence of
wheel.
planets written
Advance
on the
the
map.
wheel. I'm going to try to advance the wheel myself. I don't know if I can do this.
It's like strike your colors, right? Advance the wheel.
Yeah. God, I'm doing a horrible job. All right. So we advance the wheel.
Okay.
God, I'll never remember that.
Yeah, it's not even an important rule to remember.
It's like a crucial remember it or die rule.
If I build a third farm, the cities will go to dial. But will it make any change? Or
Now you're allowed to farm twice. You could go here and here if you wanted to. I mean, right now you're allowed to do it twice. You got 2 figures. You've got a farming leader. You can move that farmer or you can move that leader. So that's certainly an option for you. You could also build a vehicle to try to start a city here if you wanted to. Another thing you're allowed to do, I don't know if you got any bombs left. You don't. You can do another thing you're allowed to do is an infiltrate. Now, infiltrate is here on the chart. You need access to energy, which is a problem, perhaps for you at the moment. No, well, I mean, you've got. You don't have access to battery, but I'll just explain. If you infiltrated, that means you would create a new figure, and you'd be able to invade this city. And the rules state in infiltrate that if you are more comfortable in that at that level than your enemy, which happens to be ice worms, then you will win and he will lose. He will have to parachute. Now, at your level, you can see that the colors are yellow and green, and you happen to be green. So you are more comfortable at this level than your enemy, who likes it much colder. So you're allowed to infiltrate and live at this. If you did that, we would flip this to its human side, and you would take over the city, basically.
Yeah, but I do not have energy.
But you don't have access to that. You still have a heart here, so you can put that battery in there. If you want to launch an attack, it will take you a turn. But it's well, I don't know. It's or you could try to get as many figures as you want, because we've got only like 5 turns left before the end of the game, maybe less if this is speeded up. And if you can get a lot of figures, or if you can take over the city, that's worth a lot of points. Well, not a lot, but you can have 2 figures inside it, or you take it over. At any rate, I don't know what's his best, but those are some of the possibilities before you.
I will build farms.
Okay. So you build 2 farms.
I move my delegate.
Right, move your delegate. Looks good. I'm going to take away the 2 moistures here. And because we do that, there's a cooling event on the planet. And finally, yeah, that looks good.
And
Okay.
I am done, probably.
Yeah, now it's my turn. I'm going to
Phil, can I ask you something?
yes.
Doesn't he get to put the car in game, the bull in game now as well? Doesn't that
If he
trigger that?
builds it, if he wants to build it, he can do so. But he has to. It says here
Oh,
that the auto
You
is
still have to
built.
build it.
Yeah. Now, if he wants to
Okay.
do that, then that is true. He needs a city to do this, and he doesn't have a city at the moment.
He can use your city, right?
What's that?
He can use your city. It doesn't have to be his city.
Right now we're at war, and he cannot use a fish city. If he infiltrates it, yeah, it'll be his city. Or if he builds his own city at this level. But it's my turn. I think splitting up my guys wasn't a great idea, because now, in order to use my double figure move, I'd have to spend a red bead just to commute them. But I'm going to mine. I'm going to do mining. Move it to there and grab a red bead. And now I think we roll for the dice. And I'll roll here. It's a 4. The 4 is volcanic mega lightning, but we have no volcano, and there's no water to boil off, and there's no sulfur to boil off. This planet's already cooked. But a 4 over here is boiling off methane. There's nothing left. Boiling off water. There's plenty of water to boil off. And it could hurt a human, I suppose.
Mhm.
If I roll a 1, 2, or 3, it won't hurt the humans. If I roll anything else, it'll hurt the humans. 4, it hurts the humans. It hits the boil off, hits the lowest.
Yes.
Yeah. It says lowest. So this one boils off. Now, he's allowed to parachute. This goes into here. If he parachutes, he's allowed to go to any empty hab space there is with his parachute, which would be a balloon. So I guess he could parachute to here.
Okay.
He can't go here because it's enemy. If he infiltrated, he'd be able to do it, but infiltration is a action, not an emergency parachute thing. So, I mean, it's right next door. I could imagine a rule whereby, in an emergency fashion, he'd go knocking and throw himself at the mercy of the aliens. But since he's allowed to inflate a balloon and I guess a little rocket pack to get back to his starship, then that's what he'll do. I suppose so. There's, of course, also an extra space here, but
Not for me.
yeah. All right. So that's it for the events. Oh, I forgot the cooling. There's another cool that goes into the wheel. This 2 cools at the same time accelerates this cool. If there's a cool and a warm at the same time, they cancel each other out. So we're something like that. And it's your turn, Peter.
Move it
Have
up.
you moved the wheel?
Oh, we got to advance the wheel, though.
So all this those disappears, right?
Yeah, all of it disappears. So the starship blows up. These go back to their owners. This starship means that this figure's got a parachute again already. Oh, this beryllium. Oh, that's for the vehicle, so never mind. This vehicle stays there. This starship has station fall. So this guy's got a parachute, but it doesn't look like there's anywhere to parachute to.
Yep, it dies.
Yeah, looks like he dies. This death means that this jar goes back to anarchy. And I think that means we've got an extra water. Okay. Now that
Why do you
we've
have
done...
Why do you have an extra water?
I'm struggling with this concept, Roger, and I'm not sure how it's going to work. But the idea is that if farms take away water, then the death of a farmer will add that water back. That's a weak going in idea right now.
That's fine, but this wasn't a farmer that died.
Well, you're right. Not a farmer
And
now,
it was
but
added to the sky.
yeah. All right. Well, I'm going to take away that water then. This has to be thought out. It's a problem. I'm not sure. Maybe they
Like
just
in Dune, right? The waters of we are taking and people life for its water.
yeah. This is a weakness. I have to think about this.
From the farmer,
not
from a farmer, it could be kind of maybe, since there's no more farming. I don't know, maybe ads. But in this situation, this was someone parachuting from the sky or from Lagrange. So.
Yeah, I know. But he was a farmer, and so it's possible his water evaporated and went back to the sky. But it's possible he should have put two waters into the sky at that point to conserve water on the planet, or maybe that water should be lost forever. It would be simpler if it was just lost forever. That would mean a lot of farming would be flushing water from the planet permanently. Anyway, I have to really think about it, but it's your turn, Peter.
Okay.
It's not obvious what to do, but
I want to build a vehicle. I need...
I'm sorry, ask the question again.
To build vehicle, I can pay to robotics. robot.
Yeah, I'm sorry, what are you building?
I built vehicle 2 underground. So I pay
Oh,
one.
you want a vehicle underground? Sure. You can pay to robotics to do that, yes.
And Y2. I pay 1 beryllium or 1.
You pay 1 to the Robotics Guild, and you pay the second to as beryllium material cost for the vehicle. I don't know which vehicle you're building.
No. I think only option is.
I think your plan's a good one. And you're looking for a vehicle that's suitable, right? What about the candle? Is that good?
And do I need a hypercane or not?
The hypercane is not a requirement. That's an additional capacity. With this candle, you can create a hypercane. So that's extra thing that you can do to influence the climate with that.
And I
Now you should flip it over to the black side so we know it's a human thing.
And I place 1 on my part.
Yeah, the highest you can go is 4. You can go from 4 to 8. So you can go to this level, which is between 4 and 8, and this level, which is between 4 and 8, and this level. So you could bring it all the way down. Well, you can't bring it down to the ground because the ground is solid, and you need a special vehicle for that. So you'll be able to place it there and there.
Okay. And
So
that's all.
well, no, it's not quite all. So you need a beryllium placed there to build this thing. And now you're broke, right?
Yes.
But you have 3 figures, so you're able to do a second construction. So you could decommission this vehicle here, which you can always do because it's yours, to get an extra beryllium and use your second action to build your city here.
Okay.
Okay, looks good. You should place your beryllium that you spent on it there.
And I place it on the map.
Yes, you place it on the map. Yeah, it shouldn't even be there. It should be on the map.
This is very low. Oh. To any, to any or
It's got to be adjacent to a farm. Well, actually, it doesn't because you have a vehicle that you can use, so it could be anywhere. You can fly your candle anywhere.
It's also an underground city,
Yes.
so I'm curious to see how it reacts against volcanoes or other natural phenomena.
Yeah, I had to think about that. Roger, do you think it's good to do it on the North Pole? I don't know where the...
No, I'm done.
Well, if it's a underwater city and then in the North Pole and it's not hit by I guess the hypercane won't affect it. I think
I
because it's underwater,
Yeah,
could be a good place.
it's hard to say. All right, so now it's my turn. And I'm wondering if I should be bombing things now. I need robotics to bomb, and I have only the humans have robotics. I don't. Um, I've got beryllium. And I lost my heart, didn't I? I wasn't paying attention. I'm going to have to... I'm going to throw in a robotics there. And Roger, I'm going to use the special rule that I told you about. I'll pay 2 to any 2 guilds to, I guess one's got to be the robotics.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. One should be the robotics.
In order to put a robotics guild into the wheels so that I can actually attack. Since he can attack, it seems like I better be able to attack too. I don't have any more bombs, but I'm at a bomb mine, so I should be able to wage war. Now I'm going to roll the die for the event. I rolled a 3. You're not late for your plane or anything, Roger, are you?
No, I'll be on time. I'm arriving in Frankfurt.
You're arriving at Frankfurt. Yes, okay. Nothing happens on Liten. On Stor, we've got some rain. So I'll roll for the rain. That wasn't much of a roll, but at any rate, I rolled a 2, and it hits the lowest, and it comes in as water. So my city gets flooded.
Hmm.
Oh no, wait a minute. That's not true at all. This has been lower. The North Pole is at elevation 0. So there's more water up there. Now, I took it from here. I was supposed to take it from here. It rained from the sky.
And is it water or ice?
It's water because of the eye. The eye right here is green. So this shows what the rain looks like when it hits the ground. And I'm going to roll for the sulfur. The sulfur is going to hit the lowest, which is here. And now, Peter, it looks like it's your turn.
One comment. It's not obvious that lowest elevation is 0.
Yeah. I could put a little note on the map saying elevation 0, lowest or something.
Have you rotated the dial?
Right. Yes. So what happens when it rotates?
Yeah, this thing is a big nothing. It's just station fall. This gets returned to you. But there is cooling on this planet, so we're going to shift this over to the cool. Now, I don't know if that impacts the vehicles, like this candle. Looks like it's still okay. It goes from 4 to 8. So it's fine. So is the rocket plane.
Or a human cannot have access to beryllium anymore.
And it's a bit.
Oh no! What a disaster!
Well,
But
next
the
time.
warming is coming up, isn't it?
Yes, next turn.
Next turn, it'll warm again, and there'll be beryllium again.
Well, he cannot mine because, well,
Yeah.
no miner, no triangle.
He doesn't have a triangle. He still can get access to it. I mean, he's got a heart, doesn't he? Or does he? Oh, God, we don't have anything. Yeah, it'll be hard for him to mine because we're both broke. I've got nothing but 1 beryllium, and he's got nothing at all. We are like out of money.
What can I do?
So, in order to mine, which you desperately need, you need to. Oh, God.
He needs peace. Peace between the fish and the
That's
bipeds.
what he needs. I think what you need to do is go to here with your delegate. If you go to there with the delegate, then that means you will have access to a miner. I'm not sure if this is a good idea because all that will mean is that he has access. Says everybody may choose enemy delegates and guild masters as leaders and use enemy vehicles and habs. That might be bad for him because that would mean that I could use his hab and start mining myself with my own miner. So that might be a strategy for me rather than him.
Is there anything I can do now?
Well, right now, one thing you can do right away is, well, I said farm, but we lost all your moisture in the air. You can't farm. And you're not even adjacent to the North Pole. But that doesn't matter because you got a vehicle here, which you can fly to the North Pole. But what you don't have is moisture in the air. If you had a bomb, you could blow up a lake, but then you would blow up your living space. It's not. What else can you do climateering wise? You've got this. If he started a hypercane, would that help him? Because he's got this candle that's able to start hurricanes.
The game will end in 3 turns, right? So
Yeah, it's not going to.
I can. No, I cannot contact. For contact, I need to be here.
Yeah, see, this thing is not available because it's too cold.
Yeah.
They've all gone deep underground or something, these things. You can only contact if it's in your climate range here. There is literally nothing to contact on this planet. At this temperature, I mean, it's going to warm up, and then it's possible to contact here. But even then, you're going to need jar. Well, you got jar. No, you're going to need. You got jar. Yeah, all right. So you'll be able, and this is really will be super valuable to you, I think. Next turn, you can't do it now, but next turn it'll warm up. Then you should be able to contact the harmoniums if, God, you got to get to their level though.
I think that's not possible.
It doesn't look like it's quite possible. If you could, then that would give you an extra delegate, which would give you an extra guild. Your pets would be able to do clever things, but it doesn't look like it's possible in this situation.
I have some idea for the situation.
Yeah?
As some auxiliary action that I can place my beryllium on like spot number 3 or dial
Yes?
3 or 4, that I get some money. Not now, but in some time. That will
And what would you use it for?
to
What you would want to use it for is things like access to guilds or contact or making bombs or something like this. Those would be useful for you now.
can I add my delegates to wheel by but I need to pay them, or
Yeah. So by putting delegates on the wheel, what you need to do is do
education?
education. And right now, what I needed to do was pay 2 beads to get education, or to build a new guild. That's what I had to do. You do have, you've got 1 here. And you have 1 in your reserves, right? Or do you?
What?
No, you've only got 1 available, it looks like. What happened to your extra beryllium? Where are your 3?
Unless,
I see 1 here,
well,
1 there.
And
But where's
and one
one
to
on a
pay.
guild.
in the vault.
Oh. Now, if you used the robotics for something, that they would pay the material cost. If you built something with the robotics, they would pay it yourself. You wouldn't have to pay the beryllium. But in order to use it, you've got to have a hex. It's not obvious what you can do in this situation, and that's really bad for the game when you can't do anything because you're broke
Yeah, it needs.
I have a loose
something.
thought about it.
Yeah.
I mean, why all the minerals on those planets are deep underground? Maybe there should be like some, places on the map where you will have like one beryllium or one this red one, rocket fuel, and when you build a farm there, you just grab it, like like you mine it from there because it was
Yeah,
near the
I know,
surface.
but I didn't. I wanted, the idea was to have a dilemma, either farming or mining. I didn't want both.
Okay, because mining is really hard, especially there can be situations like here, like there is no possible to, mine
It's no
beryllium.
possible for him. For me, it's easy. I have a miner right here, and
I mean,
I've got
but
a
beryllium
here.
is unavailable for you still.
What's
no
that?
No beryllium.
There's no beryllium, but I can get bombs, and I can pay off bribes with bombs. I can pay the
Yeah, that's
education guild and get whatever I want with these bombs. Plus, in 3 turns or less, the number of bombs is going to determine the victor winner.
Yeah, that's true. That's why the fishes has like very easy situation because they start with the access to minerals, but human players have to, struggle with the tree that they have at the beginning, and it's very
Peter,
hard to go deep.
Peter, what do you think about the human versus fish situation? Do the fish have a big advantage?
Hard to say. I do not know.
All right.
I think there needs to be some option how to get from this locked situation.
Yeah, we have to. Roger has to. Somebody has to figure out a way to, if you're dead broke and don't have access to guilds, to have some sort of out.
Debauchery. No.
Exactly, some sort of debauchery.
Yeah, some option
Some
how
sort of
to
desperation.
place new delegate, new guild.
Now, it seems, I mean, just thinking about this situation here, from a military standpoint, it looks like he's got a huge advantage. He's got 3 farmers, and there's 1 city which is undermanned, and he's got a really advanced vehicle hovering directly over that city. It seems like he should have, and he's got an underground city right next door. It seems like he should have a really huge advantage in this situation and not be in a desperation move here.
Yeah, but those farms and cities doesn't provide anything, right?
Well, right now it provides some victory points, but there's no military option for him other than infiltrate, and he's got to have infiltrators to do that. It's possible that there should be some sort of guild-free riot action that would allow him to storm the palace, storm Versailles, or something like that. Because just looking at it, he's got mastery of the planet. He's got all the industry he needs. He should be in a strong position. It's a failing of the game that just because he's out of minerals, that but he's got a lot of people, that he can't do anything. There's got to be a way.
Maybe some
him to
like
What
having a
is he
city.
farming? What is he farming? What does it mean by being on a lake? What's the
Nothing.
You know,
farming rice?
thematically, all he's
Is he
doing
farming
is
rice?
growing crops, algae crops on a lake.
So, and a red player would also be farming lava for some kind of food.
Right.
substance.
Now he is using heat engines or heat differential for his metabolism, but essentially it's the same thing. Roger, what do you think?
I think the center spot of politics should be apolitical and not anarchy. And if you're there, you can use whatever you want. That's what I think.
No, I don't want to. I need to get. You're right that I do need to get around.
I mean,
The
maybe
fact that-
farms or cities can provide some other actions, like possibility of actions if you have them, to justify having them. Something like
Yeah.
that.
What about every 2 figures you have gets you, or 3 figures maybe, or something? I don't know. Gets you a guild of your choice, or maybe that would be that they would be able to throw something into the wheel. Let's try it that way. Let's say that he's able, with his figures on his turn, to train a new commando group. So, Peter, my question to you, if I had a rule like that, what guild would you put into the wheel?
But this can be like also not clever, since like what happen if you put a guild in the wheel, then you lose one meeple and then you bring it back. You also have now the possibility to throw another guild, right? Because you fulfill the requirements again. Stuff like that. You can have this kind of,
Yeah. If the rule would be, if you've got this many figures, then for your turn, for your work, you can throw something into the wheel. That would be a proposed, and he could do that every turn if he wanted to. But my question to Peter, since I can't see I can't see his tactical situation or his long-term strategy, if you were able to put a guild into the wheel, which one would you want? I mean, you could do robotics for attacking, you could do triangle for mining, you could, I'm not sure which one.
if I may still, the fundamental question is whether it's the guild that we are missing or the resource, for example.
More guild. I think it's more important.
Yeah, the guilds seem to be much more limiting than resources, and I like it that way.
Can I infiltrate your city, or it's not possible because it's fish?
Okay, let's go over infiltration. First of all, if you wanted that strategy, you would need to do an infiltrate action, which is here. That would mean that right now you would take your battery and throw it into the wheel, like right here. All right?
Yeah, but question: can I do it when?
Yeah. All right. I'm getting to that part. Now we get to another turn. If you do it, then infiltrate action would mean you take an extra figure, or actually even 2 figures if you wanted to. You would take 2 figures because you get 1 action for every 2 or more figures. So you would take 2 of these guys and you would go into here. Now, the rules state for infiltrate, and I think it says it here, maybe. Somehow it says here. It says your color matched figure replaces an enemy that isn't color matched. Now, color match is a term that refers to the level color.
Yeah.
So the level color at this point is green, and my color is white, and yours is green. So you meet the requirements for color matching. That means if you threw that into the wheel, and then on the next turn you performed your infiltrate with two guys, that you would kick out these two, or well, this just one ice worm who would have to parachute. And presumably he would parachute to here. Then you would flip this over. Can I do so, or would I destroy everything? Oh, yes. So you flip this over, you capture the city, and you convert it to yours. And then we would swap this city out with a green one. This city here is what the one I mean. That would mean that you would end the game probably. I mean, that's 2 turns. You would probably end the game with 5 figures, which is, a lot of victory points. Now, so yeah, that's what you would do, and that looks like a strategy. Should you have this able to gild for 3 figures or something like that rule?
Maybe some kind of comment still. Maybe just like discarding one of your meeples and put a guild into the wheel. Something like that. Like a trade-off.
It could be.
But my suggestion that you can do it, but you take
But still you cannot pay for it because you still don't have minerals. So it doesn't give you...
What?
For the guild. If you want to use guild from the wheel, you have to pay for it, right?
Oh, that's true. That's true. You have
So
to
there
pay.
is this other problem with not enough minerals.
Yes.
I actually think you're onto something there, Phil. In my opinion, meeples could probably be more political influence. I would go so far as saying you can put an extra guild for every meeple that you create on the planet, showing your
the other way
influence is
around.
growing. Exactly. You can still put things in the guild. In the guild, in the dial, they'll stay there for 6. But I'd actually, if you have a meeple on the map, you would put it on the political assembly. If you lose the meeple, you lose something. So the trade-off is, if you put it on the dial, you have a guaranteed 6 years of using this thing. But if you put a meeple on the map, you have more political influence. But there is, of course, the danger that it could be lost if you lose a meeple. That's how probably I would put it.
But how you deal with the extinction? So if the meeple is on the wheel, it doesn't count as a population.
No, on the wheel it doesn't count as a population. But the more population you put on the map, the more influence you have in the assembly, which is
I see what Roger's saying, and I think I guess I agree with him. Mm-hmm. He's saying that the more figures you have on the map, well, these guys are going to be, you're going to have more specialties, and that would mean more delegates in Congress. And so you would get extra delegates. This would be like an extra pet, and it wouldn't cost anything to use. And this will give you a very strong position. And I think I have to agree with that is Now, if I keep putting more and more delegates on the map, that's going to mean the guilds are going to starve, because no one will pay them anymore, because they'll all have their own delegates. But maybe that's not bad, and maybe... No, I like that, Roger. I like that thought. I'm going to try something like that.
I mean, the opening move for many people would be always to put something in the dial in the beginning, because they don't have a lot of meeples and they've only got one, and they have to somehow spread out, so farm or whatever. So there will still be something in the dial. And again, it's dangerous. I mean, it's a risk, right? Your meeple might die out in space, so you'll lose your influence in the assembly immediately. And you might depend on the guild wheel or the dial to compensate for it.
Yeah. It could be that if you have, I don't know, 2 or 3, maybe just 2 would be enough to, as some sort of action, to put another delegate into the assembly. I kind of like that. Now, if you lose figures, should you remove it from the assembly? It's possible you would not. I'm not.
I would remove it. I would remove it from the assembly, because that's the risk, and it's a
You're
generation that's
losing,
gone
yeah.
past.
Right.
You know, I'd immediately lose that influence. The only thing that is guaranteed in terms of time is actually the guild masters. So that's where the decision comes in. Should I educate something into the dial, which I know will stay there for 6 years or 6 generations? Maybe I should, just in case I lose my influence in the assembly. You know, my 2 delegates that I have there or something.
I'd like to count up points now, is what I'd like to do. I'm going to say that on my turn that I went ahead and mined. So that I at least have a point for that. And I will say that he did his battery here.
But it's still 3 turns, Phil.
Yeah,
You want to count the points. It's 3 turns still to the end of the game, right?
Yeah, it's 3 turns to the end of the game, but I'd like to count up points a turn early.
Oh, okay.
So even though, because, in fact, I'm going to say because he did 1 turn for this and 1 turn for that, I'm going to grab yet another nuclear bomb for my second, and maybe even a
Peter
third.
is stuck. I see. Okay.
Maybe even an extra one, because he parachuted out. So I have 2 miners. This 2 would move here, and maybe I'd grab the pet emancipation, but that doesn't really help. So, at any rate, I just want to count up points and try to figure out.
Okay. Yes.
If this is okay with you, Peter.
Yes.
So we're going to start with you, Peter, and I'm looking at this. And the first thing is endgame specific. So endgame specific is the number of bombs. And how many bombs did you end up with?
None.
None. All right. Let me count these up just a second. I got to scribble down. Peter 0 and Phil 3. Woo! 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 All right. So now we get 1 VP. I'm looking at this one next. For each figure in infrastructure. So you have, how many figures you got?
3.
It looks like 5 if you count these.
But we did not done this. But
No, I accelerated the game by 2 turns, and you
Okay.
did, and I'm assuming that you put this battery in, and that you took the infiltration, and that on those turns I mined twice and got 3 bombs.
Okay.
That's what I'm assuming here. So I'm going to give you 5 points for your figures, and then how much infrastructure you have, we count beryllium. And you've got 1 here. And is this yours up here? No, that's mine. So I'm going to give you 1.
Is city counted or not?
Oh, yeah. This is your... In fact, you got 2 of them. You got 2. 1 for here and 1 for here. So that's 2 more points. So that's 3 altogether. So I'm just counting beryllium and I'm counting meeples. And I count 3 green berylliums, assuming this is colored green. We're supposed to swap it out. All right, and then the next one is 1 delegates in your secret guild. Now, what is your secret guild, by the way? It looks like your secret guild is energy. And right now, there's no energy in the... I'm going to count 0 for that. And mine was... triangle. God, there. So I'm going to give myself 1 point for that and 0 for you. Then what's next? Treasury of your secret guild. You are battery. And it looks like you got 1 point for that. And mine was triangle, and I get 1 point for mine. And then your secret revolution. What was my revolution was... Damn it. Can you tell me what my revolution is? I can't see it.
Big Brother.
Oh, so I get 0. And what was your revolution?
That emancipation.
Oh, and you were going for that, but you kept running into trouble. So we both get 0.
And
then...
as the small note, the name is not the same.
Oh, God.
It's class war and but emancipation.
Oh. Yes, I have to update the secret society cards. Yes, I have a note. And then finally, delegates in your secret ideology. And my ideology, it's on the bottom, is unity. And there's nothing in unity, so I get 0. And what's your ideology?
Freedom.
There's nothing there either. So here is the grand score as I have it.
And the question, what
Yeah?
the text in the middle, each delegate in Agora mean?
The text in the middle is ignored. If you're talking about this here, it says, yes, each delegate and censorship, that's been edited out of the game. We ignore it.
Yes. It needs some updates to be clear.
Yes, it does. But you got 5 plus 3 for your infrastructure and figures is 8, plus 1 more is 9. And I have 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 6. So at this point, well, you're the winner. By quite a bit, actually.
But I do not feel that as I am winner.
Well, then make a note of it. It seems like You won, of course, because you went to a planet that was favorable to you as it warmed up, and you were able to exploit it. Now, climateering, we didn't see a lot of climateering here, and it's not easy to see how you can use these things to your advantage, and so that's a serious situation that has to be addressed. And of
There
course,
would be like more benefits of putting your meeples onto the planet, then maybe it will be, more will to adjust the planet the way you want.
right, well, that's true, because we both had cities there, and then you took over a city. I feel like that you deserve to win because you dominated. Now, I tried to end the game with a star shot, and this was a mistake because you were so strong that even though I chose the victory type, now it's true that if I had another extra turn, I could have gotten 2 more victory points just by mining red beads, but that still would not have been enough to overcome his lead. But there you have it. There you have the game, Peter, and I hope the big thing is trying to get over the stalling point. Right now, I only have 2 figures, and those are only really my starting figures, and I don't have any other place to live, really, except... No, I have
That's
nowhere
why you
else.
built the rocket, right?
I did build a rocket, and this rocket, I could shift. This rocket, the top's in L1, I could shift it over to here and land and start trying to mine this world or contact things in this world. And maybe that would have been a good idea.
So I think it's a bit strange that you played the white meeple, the white race, and it doesn't feel like anything different than if you had chosen the red or the purple. I mean,
Yes.
or maybe the purple would have been a little bit easier, but I don't know. It feels a little bit out of place. You starting with a white meeple on a planet that you cannot survive on, and
Well-
yet the gameplay is just the same whether you have chosen the red or the purple. That's kind of a bit off there for me.
It is off. Now, I'll remind you that this world started in Snowball, and there was white all over it. And I thought that I would be able to,
In Stor,
yes. I don't know if you were there for that, but all these blues were all white.
okay, the surface, sure.
It was
but-
on the surface, but... And right now, the eye is white. So if we had rained a little bit more right now, it would have turned white again. And I would have, in fact, if I could have gotten a sunscreen or something else like that, I could have frozen the planet and driven the humans out. And
But you
that was
didn't.
kind of my plan.
Yeah, nice.
But you didn't, because. the
Well,
way
I
you-
could have
way-
because I got a city, but he was
Yeah.
able to infiltrate my city before I was able to do anything with it.
I mean,
And he was able to infiltrate because it's green at this level.
yeah, I mean, pressure-wise, that planet's not very habitable for you. Again, you could have played the purple player or the red player, and it would have been maybe the same thing. And that's what kind of feels a bit off.
Well, as I said, I mean, if I had enough, I could have done hypercanes or something to keep this planet cool or cool it down with sunscreens and start to freeze out the humans. I think it's at least possible to do that. I'm not
But
sure
the
how
game is too
practical it
short
is.
to do it. I mean, you had like only 12 actions or something like that. I mean,
Yeah, but that was my own fault because I initiated the end game.
that's true, but probably Peter would, if you would not trigger this, Peter would trigger the cities, right? This Bill end game.
Yeah,
Yes.
I think for sure he would build an automobile, and he would, especially if he's got two cities, then he would for sure trigger the automobile and win very easily.
Yes.
All right. Well,
maybe the first boiling may not flip all the ice to water.
yeah. Now this is, I think that was too abrupt, and I was considering taking it out, and I'm still considering taking it out. Now, I'm a little bit inspired by planet Earth, where I live here in Sweden, not very long ago at all, only one generation in this game or so, or two, was under kilometers of ice, and it melted very suddenly with global warming. So it seems like,
But it's not the whole planet, right? It's only
yeah, I know, but it
part of
wasn't the
it.
whole planet here either. It was only half the planet, and that's kind of the situation in the last deep glacial. Was like maybe not half the planet, but a third of the planet was under ice, and it melted so suddenly. They say less than a decade for the Dansgaard Arsenal events. There's been a lot of them.
Oh, can I ask you a side question, which has to do with these ones? If you had chosen the yellow meeple as your player color, which is a flying creature, he would have started as well down in the underground of the Stor, in the trench of Stor. Yeah, that's kind of strange, right?
That is very strange.
A flying creature that lives off sulfur in the sky, but they start down in the trench.
Yeah, I mean, the setup rules probably should finagle for this. I can see that this carbon planet is really good for such a creature. So they're starting in the wrong habitat for a flying creature. They should be starting in a small world. But it depends on how convoluted I want the setup rules to be. Or maybe
They can be flying in underground caverns.
I mean, their hub should be where you make the contact, right? So the yellows have like in the mesosphere or in this LTA hub.
It's not a hub. They should have a city in the sky.
Yes,
Just
yes.
like the humans have a city in space. The fish have a city or a hab in the trench, and these flying creatures they're flying.
The same place where you can contact them. It
the same place where you can contact them. Look at the map and see, okay, where the contact is, and that's where they start.
Yeah.
All right.
And if you can contact them on both planets, then you just choose the player chooses which one he starts, right? And
All right.
yeah, but still the problems with blocking in every game we have it, like, right?
What blocking? What? I don't understand. Tell me again.
Blocking. I mean, you don't have any actions to do. You're blocked by.
Oh, you mean I would call that a stall. A block
Stall, okay,
sounds
yeah.
like something taken by your opponent. But a stall is something where you yourself run out of fuel. And of course, the whole game design centers around you being on the edge of desperation in order to take desperate measures. So that's a plus. But if the stall always happens, and that's why Roger is proposing having figures able to create a delegate. And the more I think about it, the more it sounds like a great idea.
I agree, but there is still the problem, I believe, at some point with the resources. Or I have this feeling like people will quickly run out of the resources because you have to pay the guilds, or you have to use them to build stuff, and you can build only 3, and there is not enough beryllium for do anything else.
Yeah, I mean, the thing here is probably you can, of course, recycle your own material, so you can get back some beads.
Yes.
But what I notice is that the treasuries of the guilds are static, and there needs to be something here where that can come back to the player.
True.
There's got to be a phase in the game at the end of the turn or something whereby players somehow move the guild treasuries to their own treasury or somewhere, or so in. There's got to be a money circulation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it could be something like, it could be an actual action, like let's say you say, I want to use the robotic leader exists in the assembly, but instead of but the guild can pay for this, or
Yes.
Or you say, I'm going to use the robotic leader to get the treasury from the guild. So kind of two different types of ways of doing this. I don't know which one is best.
I don't know which way either, but I understand, and it seems like a reasonable suggestion. Some way, but that's money has to keep circulating. That's
because
essential for the game.
No,
I'm only worrying that here in this goose there will be only red. Mineral.
Exactly. But if you know that the money is circulating, then you might not, you might then start putting beryllium there. You might not mind putting beryllium there if you know how to then get it back, like if I use this action, back. And it's a very closed economy. Like the beads that we start off are all on the map, just somewhat created by mining, which is slowly done. And this could be the advantage for so this is what could be the trade-off for the human player that doesn't have access to mining, is that they can, go get this extra resources.
Yes.
Through the guilds, something like that.
Yeah, it seems like.
I still feel like there's like 1 or 2 there should be on the planet, just to harvest it in a different way, because it's like easy accessible. Whoever gets there first grabs.
No, that's called the windfall.
Like
and in my mind, the windfalls in this game are the animals you can domesticate. Although now they don't really belong to you anymore, so it's not really a windfall anymore.
Well, I mean, if Phil's saying that you have to make a decision between farming or mining, and that's kind of a hard-coded thing in there. Okay, we just have to make it. I think it compensates the farmers in the way that the more meeples you have on farms, the more political sway you have. So the more different types of actions you can choose. The miners will probably only have they could have 2, of course, mining. That's the battle there. But the farmers could have more. I don't know. And I find it's actually pretty good to always make contact, to have extra farms, because when I looked at that board, I would have chosen the red faction immediately. From what I see, how the planets would be functioning, I could have had a lot of farmers with the red. I mean, one can see, once you start understanding the game, you look at you can look how many volcanoes this might create or whatnot, and then okay, this could be a good faction. Or have contacted it. So I was surprised, Phil, that you didn't do the contact with the Harmonians in the beginning, because you would have had,
I needed biology for that, and I thought I would have. Well, sure, I can make bombs. I'll have money to pay off the biologists and contact at any time. And I should have, but I didn't. And you're right.
This access to actions. I noticed, for example, the hearts were in the wheel, and that's what creates education. Both your heart and the heart of the human was in the wheel, and it was a hard thing to see that both of them get deleted on the 6th turn, and you also wouldn't have any other option to put the heart there unless on the turn before, if you had done a swap. So you had to do a swap according to the current rules. Right now, you would have had to do a swap quickly so that the thing would drop off, and then your heart, you do education again. And that sounds like a weird thing to do, but that's the only thing under the rules right now that you could have done.
Well, you could also make contact and put a heart into the board.
So I think meeples and assembly power should, I think, function is a good is a good power option, let's say, for people to go for.
So the question, it should be by farming or also in the hubs, people,
Well, that's the question. But the easiest thing right now is like number of meeples. Number of meeples on the board, anywhere on the board, equals number of delegates. I mean, I'd start with the easy approach.
And then if you discard a meeple, you discard one of your delegates, right?
You'd have to delete it.
I think the delegate would go into the wheel if your population drops.
Okay.
So you will still have him for a couple of rounds.
Okay, could be as well. Sure.
I'll just mention that I'm from Arizona, and Arizona had all these very famous cattlemen wars and the like, and you have this sort of thing, barbed wire. The cattlemen wanted to roam free in the desert with their cows, but the farmers kept coming and building fences and stuff like this. And so Winchester rifles were brought out, and there were wars over this. And I can sort of see the same thing happening here. And what happened was basically the farmers, elected people, governors and sheriffs and marshals and things like this. And so the cowboys didn't have a chance. So this is sort of why Roger's idea appeals to me.
You will have to probably also deal with the problem that you will have many delegates and how to move them, or they will be static. Where should they deploy? Either on your color or,
Yeah, I think they will start in your starting color, and if you do have too many delegates, that would be a problem. But I don't know if it's 1 every 2 or 1 every 3, but it seems like you're not going to have more than
you have
I would
already one
say-
when you deploy one first unit. If you have first unit, you have one, so it could be like every odd number, right?
Yeah, it could be.
To be like consistent with the rules, because you start with one meeple and one delegate. So then at the beginning it's 1-to-1.
Yeah.
So like 3, 5. You can have 5 maximum.
I mean, you can have 5 maximum. You can have actually 10 if you have a pet.
Yeah.
But it's very difficult. That means you have to have 10 meeples. And so far, I think I've had at most 4. I think with the pet.
Oh, Peter has 5 now, so
But-
he would have
but
like 3
remember-
delegates.
Remember that pets don't really belong to you. They belong to either the fish or the bipeds. And also, pet emancipation means you can lose them pretty easily if you're dominating.
I mean, okay, with contacts, if you make contact, they always only have 1 delegate, even if they have 3 meeples. I don't know, could be something. Yeah. So a contacted species never has more than 1, even if they have a lot of population.
Oh, that's a good question, and I would say so. That pets only have 1 delegate.
Yeah.
You can't
Yeah.
teach an old dog new tricks.
Well,
That seems really good, I think.
it's because you're calling them pets, but it's I don't know. Should we call them pets?
I also don't like this name. It's
Well-
weird to me.
Well, I mean, because they are pets. You found animals and you domesticated them. They're only animals. Now, should they have an ideology and things like this? We discussed whether they have to stay in anarchy. But if they're never player controlled, then they're never going to have like consciousness status, really. And I don't think they are player controlled in this game. They're not really have human agency, I would say. Only if you assign a player to a pet would it really have, the power to have secret societies and set its own agenda and stuff like this. Right now, they're just being moved around according to other players, but not really belonging to them.
Yes, some comments from me.
Yes.
It is interesting. I thought that Interstellar was a very strange game, and this is much more strange.
Oh, all right.
But it will take some time to understand it. This interesting topic. I like to play it.
Would you play it again, Peter?
Yes. Most confusing for me was, and I still don't understand how all the revolutions and the delegates moving.
Well, I blame Matthew for this.
Which part of the game did you like the most?
How the things on the planet are changing.
Exactly. This is the best point here.
Yeah,
But,
now,
but
he could predict how the planets were going to go, and he could see that a lava planet was formulating over here, and that had he been playing the game, he would have won as the Harmonians.
but maybe in the 5 or 6 players, it will have different dynamics, because now we played 2 actions and there was events. And it's 6 players, it will be much slower. So
Did
maybe
we get up to 12 generations, by the way?
I do not know how many generations.
Yeah.
No, you didn't.
All right.
So,
I don't-
so maybe it can be slowed and speed up for different player counts.
Yeah.
My idea, but I am not sure if it's good one, that after player turns, you move counter now equal to the number of players, and when it reaches 6, the event happens.
All right. I'm sorry. Say that again, Peter.
There is counter from
Yes.
1 to 6, and after in the start of the event phase, you advance counter by the number of players, and you only do events when it reaches 6. So it's like in 6 players, it do events each turn, but in 2 players, it do events each 3 turns or something like that. But depends how.
Have you seen this mechanism elsewhere?
Maybe but I do not. I am not sure exactly.
But the basic idea is that if you have more players, that there are fewer events. Is that true?
Yes.
All right.
If you have more players, you have events occurring. No, you have. Sorry. Are you talking about the events or the revolution of the dials?
No, events. The
Events.
the planet changes.
Okay.
Few mistakes I see. I think the parachute should be renamed to something like emergency escape. Parachuting is quite misleading as moving only down.
Yes.
Some of the boxes are calling it treasury and some not. I do not see why.
Okay.
Then I think would be better on the Rosetta Stone on the events under the planet. Under the name of the event, add the icons and then the
I'm
text.
sorry. Say that part again.
On Rosetta Stone,
Yeah.
there is like accident. And
Yes.
and I think the icon should be in the second row under it. And then the text. Not have it on the bottom. It was quite confusing for me to
All right.
decipher this. And maybe would be better to change ion bombs and as well to some different icons. Like here it looks a bit same.
All right.
And I am not sure what the ICE-7 is doing. I don't think there is any event to affect it. Maybe I am wrong.
Yes.
And
Well,
and so,
I'll say-
and some
I'll say right now about this. Right now, this is, as you said, stable. It won't rain. I guess it will rain if there's rain out. But if we started with sirens, if we started with them, sirens are allowed to do trench farms, and so they could farm this thing here.
okay. I did not. I see it as useless in outgame, and I do not see any option for it. And also in the real game, this shifting window will be maybe problematic. How to make it not too broke it.
Okay.
And maybe some idea how to get some resources, but I'm not sure if it's maybe not too radical. That you can do the reveal as in Station Fall. That you are like robotics, and then you can use its resources.
Yes.
But you diminish your points.
Okay.
And that's probably everything now, but I think I will have something when I think more.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Peter, for playing my game.
Yeah, thanks for making it.
All right. So I'll be working this thing again. So I'm going to say sign off now, and good luck, Turtle, in your projects in the Southern Hemisphere.
Thanks, Phil. I'll be in contact, I'm sure.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thanks.